Vishnupat Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Sutarasata Shishimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupat Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Sutarasata Shishimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai. Anantakuri Vaishnavani Ki Jai. Namacharya Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se Koshi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai.
Jai.
Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopagopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Mathura Dham Ki Jai. Navadi Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Gangamai Ki Jai. Yamunamai Ki Jai. Tuvastevi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai. Grandharaj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhakta Bani Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Hari 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 Bol. All glories to the Assambodhi Hare Krishna. All glories to the Assambodhi Hare Krishna. All glories to the Assambodhi Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Mr. Bharai Krishna Vistai Bhutri Shmara Bhakti Vedanta Samani Dinamane Namaste Saraswati Repa Guruvani Viracharina Nirvishesha Shunavari Bhaschartarish Tarine. Hare Krishna, dear friends. Welcome back. Please write Hare Krishna into the comment section as it usually is. So, Hare Krishna to Katie, Dan, Rudra Prakash, Morgan, Gudrun, Shama, Gauri Devi Dasi, Ram Lakshman Prabhu, Haribol, Krishna Prema, Mataji, Haribol, Misha Williams, Doris, Greg, Anandalila, Gabriela, Ganesha, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, Ram Lakshmanji Prabhu, Dave, Hare Krishna, Dave, Red Willow, Hare Krishna, Katie, as I already said before. Okay, and we also have YouTube, Frank is back, Dr. Voigt. The classic duo. Okay, Prabhus, thank you for coming. Danny, Hare Krishna. Reading from the Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 9, text 11. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Avajananti mamuda manushim tanuma shritam param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature and my supreme dominion over all that be. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. From the other explanations of the previous verses in this chapter, it is clear that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although appearing like a human being, is not a common man. The Personality of Godhead, who conducts the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of the complete cosmic manifestation, cannot be a human being. Yet there are many foolish men who consider Krishna to be merely a powerful man and nothing more. Actually, he is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, as is confirmed in the Brahma Samhita. Ishvara Parama Krishna, he is the Supreme Lord. There are many Ishvaras, controllers, and one appears greater than another. In the ordinary management of affairs in the material world, we find some official or director, and above him there is a secretary, and above him a minister, and above him a president. Each of them is a controller, but one is controlled by another. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said that Krishna is the supreme controller. There are many controllers, undoubtedly, both in the material and spiritual world. But Krishna is the supreme controller, Ishvara Parama Krishna. And his body is Satchitananda, non-material. Material bodies cannot perform the wonderful acts described in previous verses. His body is eternal, blissful, and full of knowledge. Although he is not a common man, the foolish deride him and consider him to be a man. His body is called here Manushim because he is acting just like a man, a friend of Arjuna's, a politician involved in the battle of Kurukshetra. In so many ways, he is acting just like an ordinary man, but actually his body is Satchitananda Vigraha, eternal bliss and knowledge absolute. This is confirmed in the Vedic language also. Satchitananda Rupaya Krishnaya. I offer my obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, who is the eternal blissful form of knowledge. There are other descriptions in the Vedic language also. Tam ekam govindam. You are Govinda, the pleasure of the senses and the cows. Satchitananda Vigraham. And your form is transcendental, full of knowledge, bliss, and eternality. Despite the transcendental qualities of Lord Krishna's body, its full bliss and knowledge, there are many so-called scholars and commentators, just like Yogananda at Rasco, of Bhagavad Gita, who deride Krishna as an ordinary man. The scholar may be born an extraordinary man due to his previous good work, but this conception of Sri Krishna is due to a poor fund of knowledge. Therefore, he is called Mudha, for only foolish persons consider Krishna to be an ordinary human being because they do not know the confidential activities of the Supreme Lord and his different energies. They do not know that Krishna's body is a symbol of complete knowledge and bliss, that he is the proprietor of everything that be, and that he can award liberation to anyone. Because they do not know that Krishna has so many transcendental qualifications, they deride him. nor do they know that the appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in this material world is a manifestation of His internal potency. He is the master of the material energy, as has been explained in several places. Mama Maya Durateya. He claims that the material energy, although very powerful, is under His control. And whoever surrenders unto Him can get out of the control of this material energy. If a soul surrendered to Krishna can get out of the influence of material energy, then how can the Supreme Lord, who conducts the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of the whole cosmic nature, have a material body like us? So this conception of Krishna is complete foolishness. Foolish persons, however, cannot conceive that the personality of Godhead Krishna, appearing just like an ordinary man, can be the controller of all the atoms and of the gigantic manifestation of the universal form. The biggest and the minutest are beyond their conception, so they cannot imagine that a form like that of a human being can simultaneously control the infinite and the minute. Actually, although He is controlling the infinite and the finite, He is apart from all this manifestation. It is clearly stated concerning His Yogam Aishwaryam, His inconceivable transcendental energy, that He can control the infinite and the finite simultaneously, and that He can remain aloof from them. Although the foolish cannot imagine how Krishna, who appears just like a human being, can control the infinite and the finite, those who are pure devotees accept this. For they know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, they completely surrender unto Him and engage in Krishna consciousness, devotional service to the Lord. There are many controversies amongst the impersonalists and the personalists about the Lord's appearance as a human being. But if we consult Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, the authoritative text for understanding the science of Krishna, then we can understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is not an ordinary man, although He appeared on this earth as an ordinary human. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, first chapter, when the sages inquire about the activities of Krishna, it is stated that His appearance as a man bewilders the foolish. No human being could perform the wonderful acts that Krishna performed while He was present on this earth. When Krishna appeared before His father and mother Vasudeva and Devaki, He appeared with 4 hands, but after the prayers of the parents, He transforms Himself into an ordinary child. His appearance as an ordinary human being is one of the features of His transcendental body. In the 11th chapter of the Gita also it is stated, Tenaiva Rupena, etc. Arjuna prayed to see again that form of 4 hands, and when Krishna was thus petitioned by Arjuna, he again assumed his original form. All these different features of the Supreme Lord are certainly not those of an ordinary human being. Some of those who deride Krishna, who are infected with the Mayavadi philosophy, quote the following verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam to prove that Krishna is just an ordinary man. Am sarveshu bhuteshu bhutatma vashti tatahat sada. The Supreme is present in every living entity. We should better take note of this particular verse from the Vaishnava Acharyas, like Jiva Goswami, instead of following the interpretation of unauthorized persons who deride Krishna. Jiva Goswami, commenting on this verse, says that Krishna, in His plenary expansion as Paramatma, is situated in the moving and the non-moving entities as the Supersoul. So any neophyte devotee who simply gives his attention to the Archamurti, the form of the Supreme Lord in the temple, and does not respect other living entities, is uselessly worshipping the form of the Lord in the temple. There are 3 kinds of devotees of the Lord, and the neophyte is in the lowest stage. The neophyte devotee gives more attention to the deity in the temple than to other devotees. So Jiva Goswami warns that this sort of mentality should be corrected. A devotee should see that Krishna is present in everyone's heart as Paramatma. Therefore, every body is the embodiment or the temple of the Supreme Lord. And as such, as one offers respect to the temple of the Lord, he should similarly properly respect each and every body in whom the Paramatma dwells. Everyone should therefore be given proper respect and should not be neglected. There are also many impersonalists who deride temple worship. They say that since God is everywhere, why should one restrict himself to temple worship? But if God is everywhere, is he not in the temple or in the deity? Although the personalists and the impersonalists will fight with one another perpetually, a perfect devotee in Krishna consciousness knows that although Krishna is the Supreme Personality, he is all-pervading, as is confirmed in the Brahma Samhita. Although his personal abode is Goloka Vrindavan, and he's always staying there, still by his different manifestations of energy and by his plenary expansion, he is present everywhere in all parts of the material and spiritual creation. Om Agyan Tirinandasya Gyana Jana Shalakayam Chakshunan Miritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, has opened my darkened eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisances unto His lotus feet. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Jai. And what is that transcendental knowledge? The knowledge of Krishna, the science of Krishna. If we want to understand the science of Krishna, then we have to understand it from the transcendental sources. Mental speculation, mental concoction, mundane logic cannot help us to understand transcendental nature of the Lord. Here in the shloka, the word parambhavam ajananta is used. Foolish people don't understand the transcendental, achintya, inconceivable potency or nature of the Lord. He is not like us, although he appears like us, but he's not like us. He is the supreme, we are minute. So Krishna comes in this human-like form, and he pretends to be one of us. But at the same time, he remains the supreme master, the supreme controller of everything. This is what it means. Param bhavam ajananto. He remains the controller. When a president agrees to go to the prison house to speak some sense to the prisoners, does it mean that he becomes subjected by the laws of the prison house? No. Similarly, in the previous chapters, it was mentioned, Daibi esa gunamai mama maya durateya. Mam evaye prapadyante mayam itam tarantite. Everyone is under the influence of this Daivi material energy. Everyone is in the clutches of material energy. After a few hours, you have to go pastul. If you refuse, I will be great rebellious. I don't serve anyone. I don't follow anyone's instructions. Oh yes, you go to the toilet. Material nature will force you. Go. Material nature will force you. Eat. Material nature will force you. Sleep. Material nature will force you. Sex. Material nature will force you. Fight. So many pushes are there. Those who say, I am independent, is a fool number one. Srila Rupa Goswami listed six pushes that we have to learn how to control. Vachavegam, Manasavegam, all these. This is how the Upadeshamrita, the nectar of instruction. If you want to be a bhakta, if you want to practice bhakti yoga, if you want to be Krishna conscious, then you must follow the acharyas. Srila Rupa Goswami, we're called Rupanugas, is our founder acharya because he has written all the different shastras elaborating on the teachings of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he is our university professor, core professor, Rupa Goswami. So if anybody claims that, oh, I am a devotee, or I'm a follower of Srila Prabhupada, I'm a Gaudiya Vaishnava, and there's so many designations. People love designations because it's easier to simply call yourself something and then ride the gravy train without following anything. Actually, a devotee is always designation-less because he doesn't care for any designation. What does he care for? Service. And this is what the acharyas are teaching, how to serve Krishna. So you cannot serve Krishna when your vacha vegam, the tongue is going here and there, talking nonsense, eating nonsense, eating unoffered food, discussing prajalpa, discussing about yoga, discussing about jnana. These are all contaminations. These are also considered to be prajalpa. This Mayavad philosophy is prajalpa. It has no purpose spiritually nor materially. Srila Prabhupada defines prajalpa as useless talk that is not beneficial materially nor spiritually. So if something is beneficial materially, it is not prajalpa. But this philosophy of Mayavad is definitely prajalpa because it's nonsense. So it appears in so many different ways. So we should cut it. Control your tongue. Don't speak nonsense. Don't eat nonsense. Then the pushes of the belly, the pushes of the genital, the pushes of anger, the pushes of the mind. So many pushes there are. Material nature is pushing. So Krishna says, Daivi sagunamai, mama maya duratya. It is maya. Krishna is behind everything. Krishna is controlling this material energy. Krishna is controlling your bondage. Krishna holds the key to your bondage. You wanted to be bound. You have decided, I will rebel against Krishna's instructions. I will do on my own. Prakriti kriyamanani gunai karamani sarvasa. I am very independent. I know everything what I'm doing. I am so wise. I am so learned. I know everything how to conduct. I don't need to follow any instruction. That is your bondage. As soon as you think like this, you are fool number one. There was a famous philosopher, Greek philosopher. Maybe you know him. Mr. Socrates. So Mr. Socrates, he said a very wise thing. He said, I know that I don't know. Truly man knows that he does not know anything. That is a truly learned man. He doesn't know anything. And that is why he is eager to inquire from transcendental authority. Tasmat guru prapadyeta jigyasu shreya uttamam. He is eager to inquire because he knows his position. I am not independent. I am not in control of anything in my life. I am being battered. I am being pushed and kicked by the laws of material energy, by my karma, by the gunas. All my desires are meaningless because the desires, they're created, they're influenced by the modes of material nature. If you're in a mode of passion, you have passionate desires. If you're in a mode of goodness, you want peaceful atmosphere, environment. If you're in a mode of tamas, you want to drink the whole day and sleep and smoke ganja. So if you say, this Krishna consciousness I don't like so much. Who cares? You must stop this liking, disliking, bhoga, tyaga, enjoyment, renunciation. This is the problem. This is the cycle of samsara. Iksha, Dviksha, Samutena. The whole Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is teaching us. Transcend this duality. Matra sparsastu konteya sitosna sukadukada agama paino anitya stamtitikshashva bharata. As we change from winter to spring, right? Nobody is disturbed. Similarly, happiness and distress, if you are on a transcendental platform, you will not be distressed. You will see that they're both part of the same plan to keep you in this material world, in the clutches of duality. That is the trick. So long you think I am the controller, I must have good, then you're going to get bad. It must be there. Because everybody is thinking, I want to have good for myself. And he's thinking, I want to have good for myself. So this cannot be. This is a utopian idea that everybody is good. Cannot be. Because my good feeling depends on giving pain to other living entities. Yes? Jivasya jiva jivanam. If you want to feel good, you want to eat, then you have to kill living entities, either animals or plants or bacteria. You have to kill. So what about those bacteria? What about those souls? You cannot. So long you think I am the center, you cannot be happy. Forget that. You must transcend this liking, disliking. And that is why this human form of life is meant for tapasya. Not for ego's sake. Oh, I will now torture myself because blah, blah, blah. No, it is meaningful, purposeful tapasya. I want to perform tapasya because I'm already performing tapasya. The material world is nothing but tapasya. Material life is tapasya, austerity, suffering. So let me perform tapasya for Krishna. That is intelligence. Buddhi yogam dadamitam. This is real intelligence supplied by Krishna. If you think like this, let me do some service for Krishna. Nobody likes to do service for anyone. So we don't like to do also service for Krishna. But if we persist, if we serve Krishna, then we will taste such pleasure that all the enjoyments of this world cannot compare to it. But we must stick to it. So long these pushes are there, we cannot taste any ecstasy. So this philosophy that Krishna is an ordinary man, that I am better than God and we are all God and I don't have to surrender to anyone. If you believe in this, you cannot make any advancement. So long you think I am equal to God. Why Krishna did not instruct Arjuna? At the beginning, Arjuna was giving so many arguments and Krishna was just smiling. What this nonsense is saying. Why? Because Arjuna did not surrender. Arjuna thought we're equal. Krishna is my buddy. He is my cousin brother. We were sleeping together on one bed. We're sitting and playing this and that. He was thinking, oh, equal. What he has to teach me. Only when Arjuna surrendered, no more of this garbage. You are here, I am here. You are high, I am low. You are guru, I am a shishya. Then Krishna started explaining. Yes, very good. Now you're ready. Now the flower of your surrender opened up. The flower of your heart. Our heart is so closed. No, I'm going to do it my way. I'm not going to want any instruction. Everybody is envious of me. I must grab something for myself. So the heart becomes so stone-like because so many bad experiences. Only when we come in the association of the devotees, we realize, oh, they are real human beings. They're all human beings. We don't degrade anyone. But because they're thinking simply of animalistic purposes, they're not using the full potential the human body offers. Only in the devotee association we can have a tangible perception of what a human being should be like. Because a devotee does not have any purpose. Devotee is akinchana. Akinchana. You know this shloka in the 5th canto? Akinchana. It doesn't have, you can be learned, you can have so many qualities, but if you're not a devotee, you are nonsense. Just like this Yogananda, because he's not a devotee, useless. Duskritina mudha prapadyante naradama. We reject that. He's a nonsense. He's not a bhakta. And someone might not be so learned. He might be innocent, foolish boy, foolish girl. But because he's a devotee, he has all the qualities of demigods. This is stated in the Bhagavatam. So, Krishna is not an ordinary man. The Guru is not an ordinary man. And the devotee is also not an ordinary man. We should be respectful. We should think like this: oh, I am in devotee association due to my pious activities. This is a special gift from Krishna. When we take prasadam, we're thankful. Oh, nice prasadam. Thank you, Krishna, for supplying. Very nice. We meditate like that. But the devotee who cooked that prasadam were not so attentive. He is more valuable. More valuable. So this is how, when we associate with the devotees, this is how we gain faith in the transcendental process. It requires some faith, because all the senses, all the gunas, the whole material energy is telling us, no Krishna, no Krishna, don't do this, you're wasting your time. Your motive is not being fulfilled. Krishna is taking all your time, everything is grabbing your money, your time, your youth, and giving you nothing in return. What are you doing? You crazy? Just like there was this Mataji, Moraji. She was telling Prabhupada when he was going to America, Swamiji, are you crazy? You're gonna die there. He was telling him like that. You're gonna die. So sometimes the Maya manifests like that. It's trying to put doubts in your mind. So that is why we should always keep in the association of the devotees. That boy who was here, Mo, where is he now? He went to Ireland. Oh, I'm gonna have a trip. Now he's gone, finished. Nobody knows where he is. Nobody knows. Gone. He was here, he was chanting, he was taking prasadam, he was hearing, every day he was coming almost, on the live stream, Now he went to Ireland, gave up devotee association, gone. I told him, I said, you must stick to the devotee association. I said, focus on this. You must stick with the devotee association, don't be puffed up. So, he could not assimilate, something happened. I don't know why this happened. Maybe he will come back. But just see, this is the result. We're not so strong. Tiny little spark, when he gets out of the fire, what happens to him? Extinguished. Oh, but I am also fire. I also have fire. The little spark is thinking, I have the same quality. Yeah, look, I'm a small fire. I have the potential to be big fire. First of all, you become big fire. Now you're small fire, you're going to get extinguished. You're going to die. Your spiritual life is going to die. You're finished. So in the devotee association, we gain faith. Yes, there is transcendence. There is a meaning to tapasya. There is a higher purpose than me, my pleasure, my happiness. Prahlad Maharaj, he says that your happiness is over as soon as you start looking for it. Whatever is there, whatever you have, whatever happiness you have, be satisfied with that. That is given by Krishna, prasadam. Again, if you get a plate of prasadam, don't complain. I want this, I want that. Can you make me chutney? There was another boy here. He told Nityananda to offer 3 times. Can I have ghee? Can I have banana? Can I have this? Can I have that? I could not believe my eyes how Nityananda Prabhu very humbly, he was pretty much doing a restaurant for this nonsense person. He made a restaurant for him, just so he can become Krishna conscious, which he did not become. So when you get your prasadam, be satisfied. This is all you have. Enjoy the taste. It's a gift of Krishna. It's a miracle that we live. It's a miracle that we have a human form. We're so spoiled, so unsatisfied. You have a human form of body. You have a bona fide spiritual master here begging you to surrender. You have Krishna. You know who is Krishna. You know everything. You're chanting Hare Krishna. And still you asking, I want more. Praying, praying to Krishna. Please, Krishna, give me this. I am unhappy. I am unhappy. I am unhappy. And you must be unhappy because your mentality is wrong. Krishna is not our servant. He has already served us everything. Look at around you. Everything, all the nature, all the beauty of nature, all the abundance. That was created by Him. This is not created by accident. These impersonalists, how ungrateful they must be. They think, oh, this is just accident. Because there's no personality there who created this. It just happened by accident. So let me enjoy. It's all one. Everything is one. If you're a personalist, if you're a devotee, if you're a bhakta, you will appreciate. Wow. Amazing. This is great. And the real appreciation means that you will give back to Krishna. Reciprocate. That is bhakti. That is Krishna consciousness. Not simply talking. Yeah. Thank you, Krishna. Thank you. More. Yeah, you could do better, but kind of nice. That's not appreciation. That's called exploitation. Suppose we go into nature and we adore the nature. Oh, so nice. Oh, beautiful sun, beautiful sky, beautiful river, beautiful this, beautiful that. That is not appreciation of God. That is exploitation of God. The real appreciation is, oh, Krishna has given me so much. Although I have been so rebellious against Him, although I do not care for Him at all, let me pick up some fruit, let me do some service, let me offer it to Krishna. That is bhakti. That is what distinguishes impersonalist and a devotee. Impersonalist, he can also glorify so much Krishna, read the Bhagavad Gita and do kirtan. And there's so many of these Mayavadis in the dress of Vaishnavas. There is no shortage. I will not call any names because then again we'll have another Yogananda story. Yogananda discussion. But there's so many rascals. You don't know even. I see many times on your posts, on your even some devotees are sending me Mayavadis in the name of, in the dress of Vaishnavas, they're sending me, look at this video, how nice devotee. You have no idea how subtle this Mayavad is. You can't see. Because, I don't know why, you're not hearing from Srila Prabhupada, or I don't know why is it so difficult. Is he talking about Krishna, about His name, pastimes, activities, form? If he doesn't mention His name, Krishna, he's a Mayavadi. Because he makes it vague. That rascal makes it vague. Divine. It's divine. It's God. What is God? Impersonal. What is divine? Impersonal. No personality. No sense of personality. Look at Srila Prabhupada. It makes it very clear. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Period. Finished. Let the whole world complain. Some of his disciples, they complain. Why Swamiji call this, why you call this movement Krishna consciousness? It should be God consciousness movement. But Prabhupada says, no. If I put God, they will bring all kinds of useless gods. Bogus gods, so-called gods. We must make it clear, it's Krishna. Let them criticize, let them whatever. Do you have any form of Krishna? Do you know of any form of God? Any information that could match Krishna? Do you know what is the name of God? You have no idea. Let them bring anyone. Let them bring a competitor conception of God. Even if you say, oh, this Krishna, the whole thing is made up. You cannot even make up a competitor to Krishna. So we should not make any compromise with Mayavadis. Don't be foolish. Don't be so-called respectful. That is not very admirable. Krishna doesn't like that sort of quality. See, Arjuna also, he wanted to be universal. You know, the Kauravas are also good. The Pandavas are good, the Kauravas are also good. Peace and love. Huh? Krishna became very angry. Anarya Justa! Where have these impurities come upon you? You weakness, you coward, you impotent. Krishna called him impotent. Just imagine how Krishna was angry at Arjuna. Because Arjuna wanted to be so-called respectful. Don't be respectful to these Mayavadis. Let there be 1,000 comments complaining. Let it be so. We must speak the truth. These are the greatest rascals. The greatest blasphemers of Krishna. They are spoiling our Krishna consciousness preaching to the greatest extent. They should be immediately exposed, kicked out. Don't associate with them. Let them go to hell. Let the whole world reject this Krishna consciousness movement. We will not compromise on this point. Mayavadis are rascals. Their philosophy is rascaldom. Never make compromises. God is Krishna, not that Krishna is God. God is Krishna. When we speak of God, it is Krishna. It is not that Krishna is one of the manifestation of God. That is wrong. Matta paratram nanyat ginsti asti dhananjaya. There is no true superior to Krishna. And it is confirmed by Lord Brahma. We don't care for any Yogananda, Shmogananda, rascal. We care for great authorities. Lord Brahma says, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchitananda Vigraha. Lord Shiva also says, there is no higher worship than the worship of Vishnu. Srila Vyasadeva says, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Huh? These are the Vedic injunctions. These are the Vedic statements. What do you have? What are these Mayavadis? They have nothing. Simply speculating with their tiny pea-like brains. So we're very lucky that Srila Prabhupada, he explained this to us. Otherwise we'll be in darkness. There's so many people reading the Bhagavad Gita. So many people going to India. So many people chanting Hare Krishna. But because they're not guided by Srila Prabhupada, they're simply wasting their time and they're making zero progress. Still eating meat, still having illicit sex, smoking, drinking, prajalping, doing nonsense, preaching nonsense, wasting time. So don't be contaminated by these rascals. Stick with the real Acharya. We're praying every day. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunnavari Pachatya Dishtarine. Srila Prabhupada has appeared for this purpose, to expose all these false so-called incarnations, Mayavadis, rascals, Nirvishesha Shunnavari Pachatya Dishtarine. Any questions?
Yes, I have a question for you.
Yes?
So I'm wondering, at the beginning of the class you said devotees, they don't care for any designation. Devotees, they just want service.
You should get the mic, no?
Well, Facebook is going through the computer anyway. Phone.
YouTube is going through the phone?
So towards the beginning of the class, you were explaining the devotee does not care for any designation, only cares for devotional service. But I was wondering, in our case, for example, we also designate ourselves. I'm from Bliss, London, and I'm temple president, I'm the Sankirtan commander. And
that is a formality, but that is not your Swarupa. For formality's sake, we're in the material world, so designations are there. But if we take these designations as our true self, then we're in the illusion. A real pure devotee, he can perform any service. Vishwamitra, he was a Kshatriya,
Right.
but he became a Brahmana. And Parashuram was a Brahmana, he became a Kshatriya. For Krishna's sake, he is willing to do any service, any designations, anything, whatever is needed, whatever Krishna wants. There is no motive. Yes?
You were kind of saying that like we shouldn't ask Krishna for anything. We shouldn't pray to him for something.
No.
Well, what if like you want to have like more energy so you can do more service?
That's good, that's nice, but Krishna will give you anyway.
Okay, he will. Okay.
That's a nice reciprocate. You're asking for service. Krishna, give me more service. That's nice. That's pure. That's a pure prayer. But if you ask, Krishna, give me more energy so I can have more sex, that is illusion. Okay. Any other question?
There's questions on the live stream, yes. I can read through. Hare Krishna. Ask all your questions now. Krishna Manmohini Dasi, Devi Dasi is wondering.
Yeah.
Dandavats Pranams. How can one learn more about their Svarupa?
Don't ask these questions. This is Hajia. You reject it. Swarupa, first of all, you must purify your heart. Your heart is dirty like a tar, pitch dark. Don't ask about these things. You have no qualification. First of all, anatta-nivritti must be there. And that Swarupa also will manifest on its own accord. You don't ask these things. The reason you're asking this means that you don't know anything about Swarupa. And this is not related to the class. You should ask questions that relate to the class. We're discussing Mayavada. Why are you asking about Swarupa? There's nothing to do with the topic discussed. If you want to understand, first of all, you must hear. If you're not hearing, you can't understand anything. Next.
Craig is wondering how to integrate the Mayavadi philosophy that we
No, you cannot integrate. Kick out. No integration. Why you want to integrate? Such as foolishness. You're cooking nice sweet rice, and then you bring a stool from the toilet and you want to integrate. What kind of idea is that? No integration. No.
He seems to think that if this is the case, he's saying that should we not develop our Buddha nature or Krishna consciousness nature to be free from suffering? If this is the case and we can be free from it all through this Mayavad, why do we need to become Krishna conscious?
You cannot become free through the Mayavad. Yen yen rami naksha vimukta mani natvaya asta Buddha. Avishuddha Buddhaya. You can, first of all, Mayavad this doesn't lead to liberation even. You go straight to hell. Mayavadis are offenders. To say that Krishna as a material body is the greatest offense, greatest sin, you go straight to Yamaraj. Forget any sort of liberation. But even if you practice this Brahmavad, the impersonal process, you can only go to Brahmajyoti. And then from the Brahmajyoti you again fall down to samsara. There's no liberation. It's a dead end. You get liberated from the material existence, but because you have not approached the lotus feet of Krishna, this is what the Srimad Bhagavatam says, you again fall down. Avishuddha Buddhaya, because your intelligence is not purified. If you want your intelligence, buddhi, that's why you have the word Buddha, it's from buddhi, intelligence. If you want your intelligence to be purified, Tesam satatam yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam buddhi yogam dadamitam yenamam upayantite. You must serve Krishna with love and devotion. then Krishna will give you the intelligence from within.
Eric Mrak is wondering how to properly improve devotional service.
Hear from the Acharya, don't hear from rascals. Hear from Srila Prabhupada.
Michelle Melite is thanking you for the class. She says she got a lot out of it.
Thank you.
And-
Over to Srila Prabhupada.
And Paul Cooper is wondering, is communism an external representation of this Mayavad philosophy?
Yes. Yes. Very good observation. Because I was born in a communistic country. Everyone is the same. Everyone wears the same clothes, everything looks the same. The houses look the same. It's horrible. Yes. This is also envious. The communists are envious of the capitalists. Why he has so much? They don't believe in karma. Why he has more than me? This is unjust. Let me take his money. It's based on envy. So these Mayavadis also envious of Krishna. Why he should be God? I am also God. We're all God. Yes. Very good observation. Next.
Oh, there are some questions. Gabriela Ichi Mataji is thanking you for an inspiring class, and she's wondering two questions. One, why do you think in certain devotional communities the strategy for outreach preaching is not to mention the name of Krishna, while Srila Prabhupada was always mentioning Krishna's name, as you said today during the class?
Because they're offenders. When Lord Chaitanya had a conversation, there was a pastime with Prakashananda Saraswati. Prakashananda Saraswati criticized the Lord. Said, why he's chanting and dancing? He's supposed to study the Vedanta, he's a sannyasi. So he made offenses to Lord Chaitanya. And because of his offenses, he was unable to chant, to pronounce the name Krishna. The name Krishna did not appear on his lips. This is the punishment for making offenses. So these devotees, they made so many offenses to Srila Prabhupada, calling him an ordinary man, calling him a dead guru, and so many things. So that is, now they're getting punished, and they call it the preaching. They're diseased condition. They're in a diseased condition. They have no faith in Krishna, and they cannot meditate on Krishna. They cannot chant. They cannot talk about Krishna, and they call it, a special technique, preaching technique. That's a fact. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, maybe you know this Leela already, but he had so many magazines and his disciples were writing. And he was very busy, so he was writing also. So some disciple would come and said, Guru Maharaj, I wrote an article. So Bhaktisiddhanta said, okay, count how many times Krishna is mentioned, the word Krishna is mentioned in this article. And if there was none, Bhaktisiddhanta wouldn't even bother reading it, throw it out. He would just count how many times he mentioned Krishna. Such a big scholar, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. If you read his Brahma Samhita, oh boy, such a complicated explanation, such a use of English language, so wonderful, profound. But such a great scholar. His only priority was whether Krishna is mentioned. That's how he distinguished whether the article made sense or not. There's so many examples against this so-called outreach preaching. Srila Vyasadeva also. He was also doing outreach with the 4 Vedas and the Upanishads. He did not mention Krishna. So then Narada Muni chastised him. You have simply encouraged people in the bodily conception of life. And then he instructed him to write the Srimad Bhagavatam. So I don't know what these devotees are reading. They don't know about these leelas. They don't understand anything about Krishna consciousness. They're being attacked by this Mayavad, and their Krishna consciousness is being eaten. And instead of healing themselves, they say, oh, this is a new trend. Just see. Yes?
Second question. She has a nice little challenge for you. In the
Okay.
purport studied today, it is mentioned that someone should pay respect to every living entity. Thus, shouldn't we also pay respect to Mayavadis and preach to them when we have the opportunity? I don't want to argue. I totally agree with your perspective. I was just trying to better understand the purport.
This is the greatest compassion to the Mayavadi, when you argue with him. And if you tap him on the back, oh, very good, then you're sending him to hell. So there is no one more compassionate to the Mayavadis than Prabhupada. Because he's stopping the mentality that would drag them to the material existence for a very, very long time. Just like a father, when the child is putting his hands in an electrical socket, the father immediately slaps the child. What are you doing? You fool. So he's saving his life. But the foolish person will say, just see how abusive the father, oh my God. He's a fool. That person does not understand anything. You see, so we're all Mayavadis. Someone asked Srila Prabhupada, who are these Mayavadis that you discuss in your books so much? And Prabhupada says, all of you. We're all Mayavadis. Because we all think we're God. I am God, I am Krishna, I am the enjoyer. If you do not follow the four regulative principles, that means you are Krishna. I can also, Krishna was chewing betel nuts, I can also do some ganja or something. Krishna was dancing with so many girls, I can also have illicit sex. This is how it, it comes out, our Mayavad mentality. So yeah, we don't disrespect Mayavadis like that. We don't hate, but we must hate the Mayavad philosophy. The philosophy is wrong, not that the soul is wrong. We never criticize the soul. The soul is pure. But we're trying to wake him up to his senses. But they're so contaminated that Lord Chaitanya says, don't even waste your time. Don't preach to them. Avoid them. Because we're not so strong also. So better you avoid. By respecting, you become contaminated. I must respect. I am very advanced brahmachari, so I must go and respect the prostitutes. I must show respect. I must go to a brothel to respect. They deserve also respect. Their spirit soul, they can become devotees and this and that, but I must know my position. I may become contaminated. So, physician, heal thyself. We must first of all save ourselves, then we can save others. Okay, yes?
Alexandra Mataji is wondering, why did Prabhupada say then we should make spiritual communism?
That is different. That is a different concept. Spiritual communism means that Krishna is in the center. Just like we have here in the temple. This is spiritual communism. Everyone is working very hard, but there's a common temple fund. And everybody is contributing to the temple fund, and then Nityananda Prabhu distributes, and there's a complete trust because the center is Krishna, everybody is serving Krishna. And that is real communism. The so-called communism, the center is the state, which is impersonal. Communism makes sense if the center is a person, supreme person. Otherwise, it's very destructive. Thanks.
Craig has a question and also an interesting story with the question.
Okay.
He says, last year in Himachal at the gathering of Buddhist Rinpoches, the leading Rinpoche said that this Buddhist philosophy is not the highest knowledge, and if anyone who is truly advanced will look upon his Buddhist preaching as incomplete and incomprehensive. Does this mean that this Rinpoche will be getting credits for his discernment, saying that his knowledge is not the highest? Many people may be unable to change their external conditions due to name and fame, etc. Should everyone just convert to the temple and wear dhoti, or can they be aware of higher truths but be unable for whatever reason to preach purely like Prabhupada?
Yes, then the Rinpoche was a wise man. Yeah, even I have found, I can send you, that Dalai Lama said that Prabhupada is the highest.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Dalai Lama said that because they were asking, are you going to take birth again? And he said, why? Why do I don't need. My job is finished. Now we have Prabhupada. He is the highest. He gave the highest teaching. There's no need of my teaching anymore.
Seriously? Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, it's a hearsay. You might believe it, might not believe it. But yes, Lord Buddha is empowered. Lord Buddha is the incarnation of Krishna. So if you follow Buddha or Muhammad or Jesus sincerely, they will reveal to you the truth. And then, yes, you are right. For some reason or other, they might not be able to. Prabhupada actually says there might be some objection from your family or from, the Buddhist ashram there. There might be some objection. So one is advised to practice Krishna consciousness silently in that case. Silently, yeah. So you're right. There might be some people like that. So that's why I said we should never condemn a person. We should expose the philosophy. Never condemn a person. We never hate any person. Devotee, how can he hate anyone? He loves Krishna. He sacrifices his whole life to give the highest happiness to others, Krishna consciousness. How can he hate anyone? Don't be confused. Yes?
Drew on YouTube is wondering, hey there, Drew.
Drew, oh, Hare Krishna.
Is wondering, this is a general question for Hindu philosophy. I understand that enlightenment is non-attachment to this body, this lifetime, and the emotions experienced in this body. Oh, to be continued. He's still writing the second portion.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, I didn't realize.
Well, first of all, this is not Hinduism. We don't discuss Hinduism. We discuss philosophy. When you speak Hinduism and this ism and Christianism and you're on the platform of faith, how can we have any discussion? You have this faith, that faith, everybody can believe in anything. Bhagavad Gita is a universal knowledge, not Hinduism. Although they try to make it like that, try to make it compartmentalized, departmentalized, but it is for everyone.
Okay, he's asking an interesting question now.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying, first part, this enlightenment is non-attachment to this body, this lifetime, and the emotions experienced in this body. However, there are many stories of deities acting out in emotions, whether it's rage or jealousy, etc. What is the way to interpret this in everyday life?
What do you mean, deities? Krishna. Krishna is a deity also. So Krishna has emotion. You have emotion in the spirit. You have a spiritual body. This body is the reflection of the spiritual form. So there is emotion. It's not that you become one with everything. That's nonsense. This is, you have a misunderstanding. We're not practicing this impersonalism. We're personalists. There is emotion, there's everything. There is even a form. But that form is eternal. And that emotion is focused on Krishna, on God. That is pure emotion, transcendental emotion. Emotion is not wrong. Emotion is coming from the soul. When the body, when there's a soul in the body, then the body has emotions, feelings, and talks, and there's a creativity, everything. When the soul leaves, the body has no emotion. That means that the emotion belongs to the soul. By simple deduction, you can understand that there is emotion in the soul, not in the body. But right now, that emotion is confused emotion. We have emotion for that which is impermanent. So we should have emotion for that which is eternal, Krishna, permanent. That is transcendental emotion. That is what this Krishna consciousness is all about. How to get that pure emotion. How to dig it up from the heart. Next. Gone? Okay. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanand.